flipping to where we are across the pond, we're looking at American politics, where people are clearly recognizing that Muslims might be recognizing their power to some level. They're worried about us flipping elections or so on. But we ourselves as Muslims don't know where we land. We're like, do we vote for this guy or do we vote for the other guy? And it's not to come in between this election, but the reality is we don't have a strategy as American Muslims. Where do we go from here? Or is there a golden opportunity that we have as American Muslims to continue?
So the Arabs, they say, Al-Gharib yajib an yakuna adiban, like the foreigner should be respectful and not interfere in the affairs of others. So, but in any case, so I'm going to word this very carefully. One of the reasons why the Americans and the Israelis keep falling out with each other, I do believe the reports that Biden is frustrated, but he's not frustrated because of the genocide. He's frustrated at the suggestion he might pay a price for the genocide. And he's frustrated that Netanyahu does not give due consideration that Biden might pay a price for genocide, because Netanyahu believes it doesn't matter who wins, they're both going to support me anyway. Biden is saying, I'm giving you everything. I'm supporting the genocide. I believe in the eradication of Palestine. I believe in the expansion of your borders, but you need to show some consideration for me and do it in a way that can be marketed to the people as a humane genocide, as a genocide that is humanitarian, as a genocide that is kind. Tell your ministers to stop saying it openly. Kill them, but kill them nicely. Feed them before you kill them. Don't starve them before you kill them. And tell your soldiers to stop taking pictures of themselves dancing whenever they take it. I'm with you on the genocide, but the PR disaster is problematic. Why? The PR disaster is problematic because there is an election in the United States which is very close and very tight. And when it's close and very tight, it means that every vote matters, which means that minority votes have an outsized impact than they would have had in another election. Meaning that if it's very tight, 49, 48, as it is in many of the swing states, everybody's vote could be the difference. Whether it's 20,000 votes or whether it's 154,000 votes in Michigan. And remember, there are more than 150,000 Muslims in Michigan itself. Suddenly you find that these smaller proportions of the population have an outsized impact on the potential result of the election. And these people could swing the elections. Moreover, there is another problem, which is that when you look at all of these angry people as a result of what's happening in the genocide, as a result of da'wah that has been taking place on social media, on TikTok, may Allah protect and preserve and elevate its status. Say Ameen, Ya Rab. You have to say it with passion, guys. Say Ameen. There was somebody in Philadelphia who got very upset when I said it. He said, don't make dua for TikTok. TikTok is fitna. I told him the only one who says TikTok is fitna is the one who searched fitna on TikTok and taught the algorithm that they like fitna, so the algorithm is showing them fitna, because social media doesn't show you what you don't like because it's worried that if it does, you will uninstall the app. So beware the one who tells you that TikTok is fitna, because tell them don't say it loudly because you are confessing, and we don't confess in Islam, we make tawbah. In any case, and fix the algorithm for them. In any case, as a result of TikTok and social media and the like, people's hearts are genuinely flipping. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and all these others, their hearts are flipping. They're seeing the truth. And they are so horrified by what's happening that I can tell you, having gone across America, the most people I've met with the conviction to punish genocide are not Muslims, it's non-Muslims, who've come and they've walked up after the talks and they say, we've been lifelong Democrat voters, but we can't tolerate genocide. We believe our party need to learn a lesson. And sometimes I joke, I tell them, can you come give khutbah next week in the masjid so you can speak to my own community? But in any case, Biden is aware that in the polls show that genocide is affecting public opinion. And as a result, what it means is now is the calculation is, will this Muslim bloc actually come and punish me? Because usually they don't vote. Usually they say there's no point. Usually they say the system is rigged. Will they organize for the first time ever to actually do something? And I want to just elaborate just on this point, just a little bit briefly. If you remember, Jamal Bowman and these others, they came out and they started calling for a ceasefire. Now, Jamal Bowman is pro-Israel. He voted to reinforce the Iron Dome. He voted for weapons to the Israelis, etc. But what happened was, because the voices were so loud about the genocide, and because so many Americans were changing their minds, many of these representatives felt that just to be safe, let me hold the stick from the middle. Let me vote for what Israel wants, but let me call for a ceasefire so I have a face to show these people who, if they organize, they might hurt me. They probably won't, but let me just play it safe and give them a statement the way bin Salman does, who's normalizing, but tells them that I won't normalize. They accept these statements. Let me do a bin Salman-esque tactic. I'll give them a statement calling for a ceasefire to avoid their shar, to avoid what they might do to me. When the Zionists saw this, the Zionists said, hang on a second. We are the biggest donors to these Congress people. What does it mean when you're now saying things we don't like? It means there is a power emerging that these representatives believe might be stronger than our lobbying power. That these Congress people no longer feel comfortable within our lobbying power. They no longer feel assured of our lobbying power, and doubt is seeping into their hearts that these Muslims might punish them. We need to teach them a lesson, to tell them that whatever you're fearing, you need to fear us more. So they poured 24 million in the race to topple Jamal Bowman, who voted for everything they wanted, but because he implied that the lobby is not as strong as it is, they toppled him. Then Cori Bush, they toppled her. And the message was clear, that if you believe that there is a risk that these people will organize, know that we will punish you. So when Kamala Harris is appointed as the candidate, what the Democrats do is this: they gather and they say, guys, we might lose in the swing states because of the genocide. Third party candidate might get 5%, which would allow them access to federal funding, which would create a third party that would take votes away from us. But we need to calculate. Usually, if you stand against Zionism, you lose, always. But we might lose even if we oppose the Zionists. Now, just on this point, because I'm aware that when a Muslim says it, it's hadith da'if, mutawatir, because I look like you, inferiority complex, etc. So I came armed with Sahih non-Muslim. Sahih non-Muslim is a wonderful book when you want to convince Muslims, because Muslims will read that Allah is all-powerful, but they don't believe in their ability to boycott until Sheikh CEO of McDonald's says boycott works. Allah tells them that they have power to make a difference, that their da'wah can flip hearts. But when they read the ayah, it doesn't move them. Candace Owens moves them. Hafadhaha Allah wa ra'aha. Candace Owens moves them when she says that I used to be pro-Israel and now I don't believe we should be back in the Israel. That's when you believe the power of da'wah. Not through the ayah, you believe it through Candace Owens. When Allah tells you that, فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ, that the one who is your enemy today, tomorrow might become your warmest ally in your fight. You read the ayah and you think, yeah, okay. But when Sheikh Tucker Carlson comes out and says, we need to cut funding to the Israelis, you say, Allah, I didn't know I had that power. John Hudson is the one who said, John Hudson, the chief White House correspondent, he said that analysis is now capturing that the money, Biden is getting millions from Zionist donors on the condition that he supports the genocide unwaveringly. But John Hudson says new analysis captures that condition that they're asking is what might make him lose the elections, even if he has all the millions that they give him. So in other words, what they're saying is, it doesn't matter how many millions the Zionists give, the mobilization of the ordinary people might still punish them. So when you talk about the power of the Muslims here, when Kamala Harris comes out, Kamala Harris looks at both sides. I can't please both. Zionists would be angry if I stop the genocide. Muslims would be angry if I continue the genocide. So I need to calculate who's more likely to punish me. The Zionists will definitely punish me. They are ashab mabadi. They are people of principle. Zionists, you betray Israel, they punish you. There's no. But Muslims, I'm seeing their community leaders saying that even though 240,000 are killed, we have to support her. Even though Sidra's legs are blown off, we have to back her. Even though Hind Rajab 320 bullets were shot at her, we have to back her. At the ballot box, Ya Ibadallah, we must walk across the bodies of 240,000 Palestinians. Hikmah, use your brains. Tell Sidra it's hikmah. Tell Hind it's hikmah. Tell Reem it's hikmah. Tell these Palestinian refugees it's out of hikmah that I'm voting for the one who slaughtered you. It's hikmah that you don't understand, Ya Jahala. I'm voting for what's good for the ummah by rewarding the one who slaughtered you. When Kamala Harris saw that, she said Zionists are united in defending Israel, but the Muslims are willing to forgive. Therefore, let me gamble with them. And it got so bad, Ya Ibadallah, that during the debate, if you remember, when Trump said, if she wins, Israel is finished, because she hates the Arabs and she hates the Israelis, she said, I don't hate the Israelis. She said, I don't hate Israel. عرب يمشوا في 60 داهية. But the point that I'm saying is that the calculation here is this. Why did the Zionists spend 24 million, unprecedented amount, to topple Jamal Bowman? It's because they are worried that their lobbying power and their aura of invincibility is under threat. Under threat from what? Many Muslims, they say to me, Sami, whoever wins in November, they're going to be pro-Israel anyway. So what's the point? I tell them, I wish you were Zionist. What? Because explain to me why the Zionist is not assured of safety even though they know that the president will be pro-Israel. What is it that the Zionists fear in November will happen, that even if they have a pro-Israel president, it doesn't give them peace? Why did they, usually if the Zionists believed what the Muslim says, they should be relaxed. Why spend 24 million on Jamal Bowman? It doesn't matter, right? Why did they spend it? They spent it because they realized that their lobbying power might end up becoming a liability for Congress people and candidates, meaning that if these candidates lose because they supported genocide, they will never obey the Israeli lobby again, because what's the point of taking millions if I'm going to lose anyway? What's the point of taking millions if Biden lost anyway? What's the point of taking millions if Harris lost after taking millions of your money anyway? What's the point of taking your millions that was supposed to guarantee me victory, but now it guarantees me defeat, because whoever takes your money, it makes these Muslims come out in force at the ballot box simply to punish whoever takes your money. I'm sorry, I don't want these guys to come out and punish me. I'm not taking your money anymore. And the final point here is this. Many Muslims, they said, okay, fine. Even if I accept that the Zionist lobby might be worried about its invincibility, because they were saying, guys, and bear in mind, this isn't my analysis. Thomas Massie, the Republican congressperson, I didn't say congressperson because of the whole pronouns thing. I realized this. Congressman, okay, yeah. Yeah, Thomas Massie, in an interview with Tucker Carlson, he said, many of my colleagues would love to come out against what Israel is doing. But when I speak to them, they say there's no point because they will punish me in my own constituency. What he was saying was that they're not loyal to Zionism because they believe in it. They're loyal to Zionism because they believe that if you support Zionism, you win. If you oppose it, you lose. But what happens if for the first time in American history, a president loses because they supported Zionism? What happens if an incumbent in an area loses because they supported Zionism? I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they said to me, Sami, here it's hopeless, here it's this. You know, Greg Landsman is our, a representative, and here both sides are Zionists, and it's a Zionist stronghold. I said to them, but imagine the headline. Greg Landsman loses in Zionist stronghold for supporting Zionism. Imagine what Congress people start interpreting from that when they start saying that Zionism is now not a political asset, it's a liability because all these people ended up losing their seats for no other reason than that they supported genocide. But the final point I want to mention is this. There are many Muslims who say, Sami, the system is impregnable. The system works against us. This system doesn't break. The system is always there, designed against us. So why are those who are part of the system panicking? Why did they go to different states to try to get third-party candidates off the ballot box? What were they so scared of that meant that they spent thousands of dollars on lawyers, especially £1,000, thousands of dollars on lawyers, thousands of dollars on those court cases to get those third-party candidates off? What was it that they feared? If you can't see it for yourself, see it through their eyes. What are they worried about? They are worried about two things. One, they are worried that you will be people of conscience, and even if you won't vote for the other side, Donald Trump, you will vote based on your conscience and say, if the system breaks, it breaks, but I don't want to stand before Allah and say I voted for a genocider. So they will go third party. And enough people will go third party that will deny the margin of victory that the Democrats need to win that election. But the other reason, and this is the point that I leave it on, even though I said that many times.
3 times.
3 times. The other reason is, I didn't know this until recently. And the one who said it to me was a DNC insider, who said that the reason they are trying to sue these third-party candidates off the ballot box is not because they believe third party will win. It's because they believe their support for genocide will leave a permanent wound on the party for at least 3-4 election cycles. In that if a third party gets 5%, which is still a long stretch, but if they get that 5%, they are entitled to federal and state funding to compete across the country, which essentially multiplies their ability to compete by at least 10, 15, 20 times. This third party, if it gets the 5%, who are the voters that it's going to, which party will it take voters from? It won't take from the Republicans, it will take from the Democrat, which means that because of their unwavering support for genocide, they won't be punished just in the elections. They will be punished for a generation, because now you have a third option that is hemorrhaging. The third party is now hemorrhaging those votes that is going to this third party, meaning they're no longer facing off just against the enemy in front. They're now having to look behind them as well, because Zionism was such a political liability, it broke their ability to unite everyone under an umbrella that is needed for them to win the elections. And this is what I say when you said, what is the role of the Muslims? Gaza will decide these elections. It is so tight. I have the polls here on the phone, someone sent to me earlier. It's 48%, 47%. 48%, 47%, 49, 47, 51. It's so tight, so tight. Which means that those few thousand Muslims could decide it and flip it either way. Zionism is terrified that a president will lose because they supported Zionism. And they are hoping that Muslims will rescue Zionism by forgiving genocide. They are hoping that Muslims will rescue Zionism by being scared of the other side. That Muslims will rescue Zionism and affirm that even if you support a genocide, you can win a second term, because the only way they can win a second term is if Muslims deliver it. The Zionism is gambling that Muslims are the ones who will say to the genociders that yes, you supported a genocide, but that's not a deal breaker. Here, have it. Yes, you slaughtered 240,000 my brothers, but yes, you, and the Zionists will say, phew! Can you imagine if they lost after supporting genocide? They would have said Zionism is a liability. Jazakum Allah khair, Muslims. Thank you so, I don't know what the Hebrew version is, but thank you very much, Muslims, for, we were panicking. We thought we might become alive. Thank you for saving us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for forgiving genocide. Thank you for being scared. Thank you for being people of Wahan. Thank you, because we feared you would be people of principle. We feared you would break our invincibility. We feared you would break our lobbying power. We feared that you would break the idea that Zionism equals victory, but you rescued us because you were scared. Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom.